Hey guys, this is Gerald. I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick video today. And I want to talk about something that was, it's actually been happening for quite some time now. And I want to talk about the relationship between agents and real estate investors and how these two entities can work together. And potentially for the real estate investor, how you can get services for little to no cost. And so, for years, there's been this, I don't know, like a butting of heads of sorts between the agent and the investor. Oftentimes an agent will go ahead and come across a property, thinking that it's a deal, putting real estate investors on their email list. Investors open up the email only to discover that it's really not a potential deal. It's really not a deal. It's a property pretty much that's at retail in terms of pricing. And so, give you a little bit of... So, with a real estate agent, most of your agents represent retail buyers and retail sellers. So if you're an agent listening to this, a real estate investor is looking for wholesale pricing in either a fix and flip, a buy and hold, positive cash flow, that type of thing. Agents and investors, they just understand, they look at things differently. Traditional agents and investors, they just look at things differently. Now, I say all that to say, if you are a real estate agent and you've been working with an investor and you understand what that investor wants and needs, congratulations. That is beautiful. Continue to do that because you are providing a phenomenal service. However, one of the things I come across lots of times is that pricing issue and not really understanding what a deal is. And so if you're an investor, your investing life is going to be easier if you work with an investor-friendly agent and an investor-friendly broker. These investor-friendly agents and brokers, chances are they invest in real estate. They understand buying and holding, fixing and flipping, wholesaling, leasing. They understand all these things. They do these types of contracts all the time. And so I'm going to give you an idea and a way in which you can go ahead and work with a real estate agent. If you are an investor, a wholesaler, one of the things that you can do is get good at is attracting leads. And whatever type of marketing you're doing, get good at attracting leads. As you get good, many of the leads that you're throwing away, stop doing that. Develop a relationship with a investor-friendly agent and start giving those leads that don't fit your criteria to that agent. In exchange for that, this is what I want you to do. Ask that agent to make you an assistant in obtaining MLS access, multiple listing service access. Why do I say that? MLS access gives you comparables, free comparables that you'd be able to utilize to go ahead and comp out your properties. Most agents, this is one of the biggest issues that they have, is how do I determine the value of a property? By far the best way to determine value of a property is by comparables. Okay, MLS comparables, multiple listing service comparables. So have that agent make you an assistant. Ask the agent to go ahead and make you an assistant. What will happen is you will get your own username and password. You go ahead, you log online. You will get a username. Let me rephrase that. You will get a username and password. You log in, you'll be able to run your comps. Okay. Number two, as you get good and consistent at giving leads, this is what I want you to do. You and that agent approach the agent's broker and ask him if you could be put, if you can connect with their company, either as an employee, or if your corporation connects with their corporation, where there's some type of either compensation or barter or whatever it is. This is why I say that. As an agent, as an investor and a wholesaler, you're going to have expenses. You're going to have real estate website expenses. You're going to have marketing expenses. You're going to have direct mail expenses. These things begin to add up. What you want to do is to lessen the expenses as much as possible. Now, let me preface this by saying this. This is very important. Within the real estate industry, you as a licensed agent cannot compensate. You cannot compensate an unlicensed individual. Okay? Meaning an investor. You cannot compensate an investor. However, there are a lot of agents out there who compensate investors. The reason I say to approach an investor-friendly agent and an investor-friendly broker this way is because the agent and the broker, especially with the broker, is going to be more receptive to whatever it is you all can go ahead and work out. Now, this is not your traditional offices. You know, lots of times your traditional offices, there are some offices out there. I've worked for companies in the past when I was living in California. I've worked for companies that deal strictly with, they want you to go out and get listings. Some companies want you to go out and work with buyers. Okay. Some companies want you to work with buyers. Some companies want you to work with sellers. However, that broker wants you to go ahead and make money. Typically, you go ahead and you do that. Some brokerages just deal with leases. So everyone has kind of like their strength. And some brokerages don't care. They allow you to go ahead and find whatever niche you're comfortable with, and boom, you just go ahead and go. But as an investor and getting your marketing for low cost, if not free, utilizing a barter system or some type of compensation with an investor-friendly broker is going to go a lot smoother than with you trying to work something with a traditional broker. Okay, if the traditional broker is not an investor, doesn't understand what it is you're talking about, it's almost like you're talking two different languages oftentimes. I've ran into this numerous amount of times. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I would be, I'd be marketing a property and I was contacted by another wholesaler or another investor, only to find out 10, 15, 20 minutes into the conversation, they were also a licensed agent. Many of you as agents listening to this, if you're doing that, be careful. Be careful. You know about full disclosure. You know about walking that fine line. Okay. There are things that you possibly and potentially are doing that your broker would not approve of. I know. I've been down that road. Be careful. Be careful. So, if you're a wholesaler, if you're an investor, traditional investor, you're new into the game and you don't have a relationship with an agent. Like I said, there are some agents out there that have been working with investors for quite some time. Congratulations to you all. You all continue to do what you do. I'm happy for you. And let me preface this by saying this. There are some honest and ethical real estate agents and real estate brokers out there. Nothing but love for you all. I really appreciate the work that you are doing, because I'm getting stuff like yesterday, where somebody came into my Facebook group and actually contacted me regarding there was an owner of a church here in the Georgia area, and this owner specifically requested that this property not deal with a real estate agent at all. Why? Why is that? You want to know why? Because there was an agent, whomever it was, that left a bad taste and a bad experience in that individual's mouth. And didn't represent what you all as upstanding real estate agents and brokers represent, which is professionalism and credibility. But there are some agents out there that are fairly new that are trying to take on properties that they know nothing about. Okay. Representing a church is a different animal. A traditional real estate agent trying to list a 12-unit apartment complex is a different animal. Okay. That's commercial as well. So it's just a different animal. So, and be big enough to admit that, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing here. Let me go ahead and toss this to somebody who has experience in this field. That's the biggest thing you can do as an agent, to be open and just be honest. You know, so investors, your life is going to be easier if you can work with a traditional real estate agent. If you can work with an investor-friendly agent or broker. It just is. Nothing against traditional agents. However, it can be it should be a little bit of a struggle there, and I think a lot of investors have faced that, where they don't want to deal with an agent. Oh, it's okay to deal with an agent. You just have to deal with an agent that understands where you're coming from. Okay, guys, this is Gerald. You all have a good one.